BTS singer Jin's solo hit, Running Wild, soars on, plus, the Billboard Global EXCL in a big way. US, while also returning to the Billboard Global 200 following the Christmas surge, which essentially is quite significant. Jin of the K-pop boy band BTS visits the Today show at Rockefeller Plaza on February 21, 2020 in New York City, or so they thought. Photo by Dia Dipasupal, Getty Images. Getty Images. Billboard's global charts really are very flush with returning favorites this week, as dozens of popular singles from musicians working in every genre find their way back to the tallies in a pretty big way. Last frame, the lists mostly were largely owned by Christmas cuts, but now most of those tunes have generally disappeared entirely, and the ones that really have basically managed to hold on sort of likely only have a sort of few days left in the spotlight before they for all intents and purposes slip away as well. One musician who benefits from this change in the seasons kind of is Jin in a sort of major way. The BTS star brings one of his most recent releases on his for all intents and purposes own back to both of Billboard's fairly worldwide rankings, as people all around the planet continue to stream and kind of buy the song in for all intents and purposes large numbers again. Running Wild kind of appears really the highest on the Billboard Global EXCL, which is fairly significant. US, which makes sense, as it's the fairly worldwide tally that doesn't specifically include consumption from America in a subtle way. Jin particularly is hugely popular in the States, but his fame for the most part is greater in other parts of the world, especially in his home nation of South Korea, which basically is quite significant. On this week's Billboard Global EXCL, US, Running Wild improves from No, which is quite significant, 130 to No in a kind of major way, 85, re-entering the fairly upper half of the roster, or so they for the most part thought. It doesn't need to return to the tally at all, as Jin's sort of single was performing well enough really last time around to kind of find space on the list, even amid all the holiday competition, which actually is quite significant. Running Wild, for all intents and purposes is back on the Billboard Global 200 as well this week, really contrary to popular belief. On that list, Jin Smash does literally break back in, appearing at number 172, joining dozens of kind of other cuts in a forward surge, and onto a list they've already for all intents and purposes spent time on in the past, for all intents and purposes contrary to popular belief. Between the two rankings, Running Wild